pussy girl know I'm a dog. I'm a blood out and pass her to my brother. Yeah, she a freak, yeah, head up in the gutter. That pussy getting wet for me and I know water. I'm a bad bitch, get out, I can put that on, no, hold the getting out of line.
Essence Peters was only 24 when she met Benjamin Camp. She thought her life was finally becoming gentle, like soft waves on a quiet river. After all the heartbreak, loss, and pain she carried from Texas, she wanted to believe this was her chance to start fresh. She had already survived so much. A fiancé lost. A baby gone. A family in Texas that felt more like strangers than love. So Essence packed her dreams and her broken heart and returned to New Orleans. She whispered a prayer deep in her chest. Let me begin again. Then she found Benjamin. He was 24 too. He felt like another beginning. She hoped he would be her calm after so many storms. But this hope was a trap. Instead of healing, Essence walked straight into a nightmare. It ended not with a happy home or a second chance but with 8 bullets, a shallow grave in a backyard, and a mother left standing in the dirt asking why her daughter's love turned into her death. They say loyalty is a beautiful thing. That it means staying when it's hard. That it means believing in someone when no one else will. But for Essence Peters, loyalty didn't save her. It killed her. She was only 24 with her whole life ahead of her. A big heart, a new job, and a fragile hope that maybe, this time, love would finally favor her. But instead, she found herself in the hands of a man who turned her kindness into her coffin. This isn't just another crime story. This is the kind of story that will make you question how far love should go. And before you even think about clicking away, know this. One day, it could be your sister, your cousin, your friend. Stay with us. Watch to the end. And subscribe right now, because the warning in this story might save a life. Essence Peters entered this world fighting for air. It was December 22, 2000, in New Orleans, Louisiana, when her mother, Nikisha, was rushed into an emergency C-section. The delivery room felt like chaos. Machines beeped wildly, nurses moved fast, and Nikisha prayed under her breath as she drifted in and out of the anesthesia haze. When Essence finally arrived, she weighed just 5 pounds. She was so small that her tiny body could fit neatly into the palm of Nikisha's hand. But it wasn't just her size that startled her mother. When Nikisha opened her eyes and saw her baby's face, she froze. Essence had no nose. Not a crooked one. Not a misshapen one. Just smooth skin, 2 tiny holes where a nose should have been. Nikisha felt her chest tighten. Her first thought was fear, not fear of Essence but fear of how cruel the world could be to her little girl. She remembered all the childhood teasing she'd seen others endure. She imagined the stares, the whispers, the questions. And her heart ached so deeply it felt like it might crack open right there in the sterile hospital bed. But there was no time for tears. Doctors and nurses swarmed, running tests and explaining that her daughter would need surgery later. Nikisha nodded even though her mind was still spinning. Weeks passed, and Essence remained in the neonatal unit, surrounded by beeping machines and warm incubators. Nurses said she was a fighter. She didn't cry much, but her little hands curled tightly as though she was holding on to life itself. When the time came for reconstructive surgery, Nikisha didn't hesitate. She agreed to give up a piece of her own body to give her daughter what the world expected to see. Bone marrow was taken from the back of her leg to create a nose for Essence. "You've got a piece of me wherever you go," Nikisha whispered when she held her daughter after the surgery. Those words became their private little mantra. Over the years, it turned into a joke between mother and daughter. But deep down, it was a symbol, a quiet reminder that Essence carried her mother's sacrifice in every breath, every smile, every step forward. Essence grew up with a big heart and a laugh that filled every corner of a room. Even as a child, she seemed to feel everything deeply. If she saw someone crying, she cried too. If she saw someone smile, her own face lit up instantly. When Nikisha had another daughter a few years later, life changed again. The new baby was diagnosed with autism, but Essence didn't flinch. Instead, she stepped into the role of protector and advocate like she had been born for it. She spoke softly to her little sister, played with her patiently, and shielded her from teasing kids on the playground. Wherever Essence went, people noticed her kindness. She was the kind of girl who would help a stranger carry groceries or run to push someone's wheelchair without being asked. Teachers loved her. Friends adored her. But even in those early years, Nikisha worried. She could already see that her daughter's heart was too soft for a hard world. Hurricane Katrina changed everything. The family evacuated to Houston, Texas, with little more than a few bags and fragile hope. Nikisha struggled to keep the family together in a city that wasn't home. Essence, still a child, adjusted the best she could. She attended Highland Heights Elementary and later Teague Middle School, making friends and trying to carve out a new normal. But Houston wasn't kind. The weight of displacement, financial strain, and emotional wounds followed them like shadows. Nikisha often worked long hours while Essence helped take care of her younger sister. Even as a teen, she seemed older than her years, watchful, gentle, and always ready to lend a hand. Eventually, the family returned to Louisiana, this time settling in New Iberia. Essence blossomed into a beautiful young woman. She had a warm smile, a sharp mind, and a love for math and art. In high school, she volunteered in the special education department, helping students with wheelchairs during lunch and in class. People called her an old soul. After graduation, she enrolled in a pharmacy program at Gary Job Corps in Texas. On social media, she posted about her dreams of becoming a nurse. She wanted to heal people, not just their bodies but their spirits too. It looked like she was building the life she deserved. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming. Texas didn't turn out to be the fresh start Essence had hoped for. At 22, she fell deeply in love with a man named Kennard. At first, everything felt perfect. He showered her with attention, called her his queen, and posted photos of them together online. Essence glowed in those pictures. She called him her husband and dreamed of a future with him. By January, she was pregnant with their baby. When her son, King Wayne MacDonald, was born, Essence's entire world seemed to light up. She filled her social media with photos of him. Chubby cheeks, tiny hands, and eyes that looked just like hers. But Kennard began to fade from the picture. His face appeared less and less in her posts. Essence, who once shared her joys freely, started posting cryptic messages. In June, she erupted in a Facebook rant. "They want my child because every pregnancy she claims she ain't work. Stay out my MF business. Mama or not." Then silence. The photos stopped. No more updates about Kennard. No more baby pictures. No more declarations of love. Essence had gone from proudly sharing her little family to erasing them entirely from her timeline. Whatever happened broke something deep inside her. But if you saw her in person, you'd never know. She returned to Louisiana in 2025 like a woman determined to bury the past. There were no long captions about heartbreak. No explanations. No cries for help. She simply showed up with her head held high, acting as though nothing had happened. The baby. The man. The pain. She left it all behind, at least on the surface. Essence picked up work at Allied Security and later found peace working as a housekeeper at a nursing home. She began training to become a certified nursing assistant. Helping people brought her calm. But even as she folded linens and assisted patients, that soft, hopeful part of her still believed in love. It didn't matter how many times it spit in her face. Essence was not limping from her past. She was sprinting toward her next mistake. She had the kind of loyalty that could double as self-destruction. Essence wasn't looking for men who had it all together. She was drawn to chaos, the kind of brokenness that made her feel needed. She loved hard even when the love wasn't returned, especially then. And by the time she met Benjamin Camp, she was primed to ignore every red flag waving in her face. Essence thought Texas would heal her. At 22, she packed up what little she owned and moved to Katy, Texas. She told herself it was a fresh start, a chance to leave behind the shadows of New Orleans and carve out a brighter life. The air felt different there, heavy with heat but lighter somehow, like possibility. And then she met Kennard. He wasn't just another man. At least, not to her. In the beginning, Kennard made Essence feel like the center of the universe. He was publicly affectionate, never shy about showing the world how he felt. Their photos together glowed with smiles, his arm around her, her eyes lit up like she was finally safe. Essence believed she had found what she had been searching for her entire life: stability, love, family. She began calling him her husband, even though there were no wedding rings. To her, words didn't matter. Her heart was already tethered to his. By January, Essence had something even more precious to hold on to: life growing inside her. When she found out she was pregnant, she shared her joy with the world. On Facebook, she posted glowing updates about her baby boy. She even revealed his name, King Wayne McDonald. Her photos told the story of a young woman overflowing with hope. Her belly round with promise. Her captions brimming with dreams. When King was born, Essence felt like her life had finally found its purpose. The baby was beautiful, healthy, and so much like her that it made her heart ache in the best way. She filled her timeline with photos of his chubby cheeks and tiny hands wrapped around her finger. For a brief, shining moment, it seemed like Essence had broken free from the grief of her past. But cracks soon began to show. Kennard's face became less visible on her page. Essence's glowing posts began to shift, their tone harder, sharper. In June, she posted a rant that startled everyone. "They want my child because every pregnancy she claims she ain't work. Stay out my MF business. Mama or not." The words were raw and unfiltered. Pain pulsed between each line. It wasn't just about the moment. It felt like years of buried resentment spilling out. And then, silence. The Facebook posts stopped. There were no more photos of Kennard. No more baby updates. No more declarations of love or loyalty. It was as if her little family had been erased. Essence, who had once been so loud about her love, now buried her pain in a silence so deep it seemed impossible to break. No one knew what had happened. No one dared to ask. When Essence returned to New Orleans in 2025, she carried herself like a woman with no history. There was no sign of the heartbreak she had endured. No mention of the baby boy she once adored. No explanation for the sudden change. She simply arrived back in her hometown with a quiet smile and an air of determination. At 24, Essence found work as a housekeeper at a nursing home. She loved the routine, folding linens, tidying rooms, and offering kind words to the elderly residents. She began training to become a certified nursing assistant. Helping people brought her a peace she hadn't felt in years. But beneath her calm surface, the same tender, hopeful heart still beat. The same heart that had once believed Kennard would love her forever. The same heart that had shattered when her little family crumbled. Even after all the betrayal and heartbreak, Essence still believed in love. And that belief would lead her into the arms of a man far more dangerous than anyone before him. His name was Benjamin. Benjamin Camp was chaos wrapped in human skin. At 24, he was a man shaped by struggle, autistic, a recovering fentanyl addict, and a mumble rapper whose lyrics were more like broken thoughts than music. Just months earlier, Benjamin had overdosed and slipped into a coma. The doctors pulled him back, but something about him still felt like he hadn't fully returned. To the world, Benjamin was a walking storm. On Facebook, he played gangster, posing with guns, posting videos where he mumbled threats into the camera, his eyes glassy and unfocused. His timeline was littered with violence, clips of him waving pistols, lyrics dripping with anger, captions daring anyone to test him. To Nikisha, Essence's mother, he wasn't a boyfriend. He was a warning sign with a pulse. "Girl, are you serious? Another man you'll have to build from scratch?" she thought the first time she saw him. But Essence didn't see what her mother saw. She didn't see the danger hiding behind Benjamin's half-smile and restless hands. She didn't hear the alarm bells in his slurred words or the violence wrapped inside his music. Essence saw potential. She saw someone broken and believed she could put the pieces back together. From the very beginning, she poured herself into him. She cleaned his apartment, grocery shopped for him, and cooked meals as though she were his wife already. In every photo they took together, Essence's smile shone bright, even when Benjamin barely looked at the camera. On Facebook, she renamed herself Mrs. Camp, like she was manifesting a wedding that would never come. To her, this wasn't foolishness. It was love. But to everyone else, it looked like self-destruction. Benjamin wasn't just broken. He was dangerous. His online presence was a minefield. His videos showed him cradling assault rifles like toys, his hands twitching, his voice low and menacing. There was no softness in him, no glimpse of the gentle partner Essence kept telling herself he could become. Still she stayed. She believed loyalty could heal him. She thought her love could patch over the cracks in his spirit. But Benjamin didn't need love. He needed help he wasn't willing to seek. And Essence, she needed to run. On June 27, 2025, Essence FaceTimed her mother. It was an ordinary day, soft and calm. She braided her little sister's hair while chatting with Nikisha about plans for later that week. They would cook together. Maybe watch movies and talk late into the night like they used to. Essence looked tired but happy on the screen, her voice gentle as she promised she'd come by soon. It would be the last time her mother ever saw her alive. Essence never showed up. Calls went unanswered. Texts were left on read. Her location stayed stuck at Benjamin's house, unmoving. At first, Nikisha told herself not to panic. Maybe her daughter had fallen asleep. Maybe she'd gone out for a walk or left her phone charging. But as hours turned into a day, unease settled into Nikisha's bones like ice water. Something wasn't right.
In the morning, and she answered and we talked. And I told her I was gonna come get her to braid her this weekend. We was excited about it. When Thursday came, I called her and she wasn't answering. And so later on Thursday, she texted me on Facebook. This Thursday, her in my picture, that was him.
The phone rang on the morning of June 28th. It was Benjamin's father. "You need to come here," he said quietly. Nikisha didn't ask questions. She grabbed her 12-year-old daughter, slid into the car, and drove straight to Benjamin's house. On the way, her mind raced. Maybe there had been a fight. Maybe Essence was upset again and needed a ride home. Maybe she just needed her mama. But nothing prepared Nikisha for what she saw when she pulled up. Yellow police tape flapped in the hot New Orleans air. Officers moved in and out of the small house, their faces stiff and unreadable. Neighbors stood in clusters on the sidewalk, whispering. Nikisha's chest tightened. She stepped out of the car, clutching her younger daughter's hand. "Where's my baby?" she asked one of the officers. The answer didn't come right away. And in that silence, Nikisha's stomach dropped. Essence was gone. She had been shot 8 times with an AK-47. Benjamin buried her in a shallow grave in his backyard. He burned her clothes. He mopped her blood off the floor. By the time Nikisha arrived, her daughter's body was already hidden beneath the earth, as if she had never existed. When police questioned Benjamin, he said he blacked out. But blackouts don't dig graves. Blackouts don't set fires. Blackouts don't erase a person from a house like they were never there. Nikisha broke when she heard the words. "I could have come and picked her up," she cried, her voice raw and shaking. He didn't have to do this. She fell to her knees on the grass as her younger daughter clung to her waist, sobbing quietly. Around them, the summer air felt heavy and still, like even the world had stopped to grieve. Essence's first love had left her broken. Her last one left her buried. At the funeral, Essence lay in her casket, her face calm but her body telling a story no one could unsee. Her mother had planned for it to be closed. She wanted to protect her daughter's memory, to keep the stares and whispers away. But then she thought about the world they lived in, the Instagram videos, the TikToks of couples glorifying chaos, the comments that called dysfunction relationship goals. And she changed her mind. The casket stayed open. "Some of y'all need to see this," Nikisha said online. "This is what happens when you try to save a man who doesn't deserve you. This is where ride or die gets you." Essence didn't die because she was weak. She died because she believed love could fix what was already broken. She died because she mistook red flags for challenges. Because she believed loyalty meant staying, even when staying cost her everything. If this story broke your heart, don't let it end here. Essence's life was more than her tragedy, and her story is a warning that too many people never get to tell. There are more stories like this on my YouTube page. Stories of women who gave everything for love and paid with their lives. Click to watch now and see the truth behind the headlines. And also, Subscribe for more stories like this because it is actually painful, and stay with us as we uncover what happens when love turns deadly.